people have been talking about like how emotionally sort of like destroyed some people have been, and then I've seen more accounts where people that have now been through these swings are like, yeah, it's nothing. So I think the tolerance for these kind of swings is just more and more robust,
Yeah.
right? It's like I was hearing rumor that we would see 50% drawdown. I mean, they talk about 80% drawdowns from the high. That would have been much lower. So,
Mm.
there's also this whole the thing in the last cycle that was kind of emerging was this whole 58K club.
Yep. Yep.
It's like it seemed like it was stuck at 58K forever. And I'm not a technical analyst guy, but they always talk about floors and ceilings and resistance and breaking through resistance and
Yep.
Fibonacci levels and stuff. I can't follow all that stuff and get too excited. But when you think about it from a perspective of these are largely, well, I don't know, largely human participants, then there's always psychology. You think like if you were an early Bitcoin buyer and you got it at say, 1,000 or something, you probably put something in your mind like, okay, man, when it hits 100,000, I'm
Mm.
selling.
Mm.
You know, even if even if you later kind of became more convicted that it was like sound money, you probably had certain mental things in your mind that were kind of stuck there back to when you were thinking about it more from a fiat perspective, and those things are human. It's like
Yeah.
you kind of like you look forward. It's like, man, I'll, everybody jokes about the Lambo, but maybe some people are like, man, if it hits 100,000, I'm going to pay off my house.
Yeah.
Which isn't like you're trading one type of asset for another. Now they have different properties and characteristics, but it's not a bad move, right?
You got to
Uh,
live. You
yeah,
have to
yeah,
live.
you got to live and stuff. So maybe there was a lot of that, but I think we're kind of on the march back up, and I don't know. There's just so many macros forces. You got this war in the Middle East. You got commodity shipments being interrupted. I've been watching the silver price and the precious metal prices, and while they kind of everybody likes to compare them to like Bitcoin and the stock market. Do they differ? Do they follow? Are they doing it? Gold has been pretty stable, pretty robust. Silver has swung around and seen some major like takedowns, but is kind of like rebounding, getting its footing again. so, so we'll see, we'll see. But there's also word and more sort of things where the private equity markets are seeing a lot of strain, and we've seen some bank collapses already. And we don't need to get into it here, but for those that are interested, there was this economist named Exter that had this whole derivative pyramid of value sort of thesis,
Mm.
and it's pretty. I think it's pretty sound, uh, but the net too long didn't read version of it is once the derivative system starts collapsing, you'll see a cascade of collapse.
Oh yeah.
And having Bitcoin in that situation, and probably other things, including real estate and real property that you can, like we always say, right, take possession of, no counterparties,
Yep.
is going to be the place to be, whatever form that takes for you. So yeah.
It's only a matter of time. Self custody
Yeah,
is important. Digital self custody, that's what the invention of Bitcoin is.
that's
Massively
right.
important. What an amazing invention. So, what do you think about in the short term now? You think we're going to see a dip? Because a lot of people still are bearish, saying Bitcoin is going to dip according to the 4-year cycle. We're in for a long road ahead, a long bear market. Now, personally, for me, I don't agree with that. I think this is the 4-year cycle is broken. This is going to be a dip. It'll last however long it lasts, but I think we're going up before the next halving, after halving, whatever the 4-year cycle says. I think we're going up this year or next year.
Yeah, I see a lot in the Bitcoin press, media that people are saying the 4-year cycle is broken
Hmm.
and that we can't really follow it anymore. Um, you know, Bitcoin following the stock market has been a pretty good correlation, but it hasn't. If you look at it in terms of like money supply,
Hmm.
then you can say, well, that's why, because it's like, more money, higher prices of everything. So it just follows that. But again,
Yeah.
everybody's looking for that divergence. Um, I I think there's more momentum in other types of instruments. We have the ETFs now. We've got pension funds that are using, uh, uh, Bitcoin as a component of their portfolio. These are big institutional players. And I just saw this morning. Who was it? It was one of the stands, I think. Central bank, the first central bank purchase of Bitcoin.
Oh,
Might
really?
have to look that up.
Who was that? The Federal
Yeah.
Reserve?
No. I think it was. It's not Pakistan.
Okay.
Hang on a second.
Some
I'll
country.
try to find it while we're looking.
All right.
Uh,
Yeah, I mean, that would be a pretty big deal, but really, I want the people to buy it. Hopefully, the people wise up, the common folk, and they start self custodying Bitcoin. But it's unlikely that the masses do it because a lot of people would just follow. So we'll see how that shakes out. It's more likely that the smarter people, they're rich for a reason. They're smart. They're going to be the ones that gravitate to Bitcoin and use Bitcoin.
that's right. So I found it. It's actually Czech National Bank. Here, I'll share for
Okay.
a brief minute here. Oops, sorry about that. Czech National Bank buys 1 million BTC. Now, why
So they bought
why is this?
13.75 Bitcoin. Okay.
Yeah. Oh
Nice.
yeah,
Nice.
I have.
It's a nice
Have you?
stack.
Do you have this? This is a good one. Do you have this plug-in opportunity cost?
No, but I seen that. Isn't that like Marty Bent's or somebody's?
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes,
I
yeah,
saw that. Yeah.
yeah. So I often, it defaults to having it enabled. If I turn it off, it'll get rid of that Bitcoin. So that wasn't in the actual headline.
Oh, sweet.
But
That's
my
nice.
plugin, whenever it sees a dollar amount
Oh,
in an
sick.
article, it'll stick it in there. So
Turn that back on.
oftentimes,
Turn that back on. That's
yeah,
awesome because that's how my mind already works and thinks. Like, oh, 1 million in Bitcoin, yeah, whatever. 13.75 Bitcoin.
yeah. See, like right here, it'll throw in the Bitcoin equivalent
Wow, that's really
of
cool.
stuff, but it works on everything, like any website. So you can like pull up Zillow or something and shop for houses based in
Yeah.
Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's
Something.
awesome.
Yeah, it's Marty Bent. It's TFTC is
Yeah.
his website. Truth for the Commoner. It's a really good website.
Marcus
I know Marty.
Dent.
I've met him. Yeah. So anyway, but the important point is like is that a central bank, if you understand what that is a is this is typically a private entity that a government gives permission to issue that country's money,
Mhm.
right? And it's kind of a cartel. It's
Yeah,
kind of a
it is.
it's basically a commissioned right that no one else then has in that country. And there are very few countries that don't have central bank. I think North Korea and Iran, maybe not long for Iran. And this is like how monetary issuance gets controlled by the governing powers, right? And while there's been a lot of central bank buying of gold because they have, there was this thing called Basel III, the monetary system kind of reclassified gold as a what they call a tier one asset. Well, another thing is that there's new rules that they've given to themselves that says actually crypto assets are can be considered partially in underwriting things. So they're even kind of the enemy is coming around see the fact that Bitcoin is something that's got qualities that they want to, add to their holdings. So yeah, it's kind of a big.
It helps them. It
problem.
preserves their wealth because they
Right.
self-custody, they take it. But they're going to try to sell derivative products, paper products backed from that Bitcoin to the people, and that's really how we save humanity and save yourself. You have to be the one that self-custodies, all these people buying MicroStrategy stock and all these stocks because they themselves, the companies, are buying the Bitcoin. It's silly nonsense. You yourself have to be the one that's buying and holding the Bitcoin self-custody. Otherwise, you're not getting any of the benefits. You might get the fiat increases, but so what? The fiats are free to create and unlimited in amount. It's Bitcoin that's important. It's proof of work. It requires energy to create, and it's limited.
That's right.